down here, and I was kind of cleaning up our area, vacuuming it, and just getting some of the clutter out because we do have a guest today, 2 guests today. My dogs are down here with us because there's nobody else at home to watch them right now.
So, round of applause for these two.
Yeah, round of applause for Lex and Lola. So if you hear like any strange noises or heavy panting, that's going to be them. But yeah, while I was down here, this you see this corner over here? You can see where I vacuumed that blanket.
Yeah.
There was probably 7,000 desiccated ant corpses, like all up and down that blanket on the wall, all in a pile on the floor down there.
Really?
The only thing I can think is like the Doomslayer version of a spider lives in that hole in the drop ceiling, and I might be him right there. But he's just having a field day with the ants. I mean, they were all like just drained, dead. It was the wildest thing. It was so gross. And so I just vacuumed them all up. But
your dog just farted.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
She got up and put her paws on me and then farted.
Lola, you need to be more ladylike. Stop panting. Everybody can hear you. Don't come over here and pant. You're going to make it worse. Go away. All right, anyway. So another thing that happened yesterday is while I was down here, the computer was turned off. The computer was off.
Yeah.
Right? And I was vacuuming and everything. And I kept hearing this really weird noise coming out of the speakers.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out what it was. And it was the mic picking up the sound of the vacuum cleaner, and it was still coming through the interface and coming out of the speakers, even though the computer was turned off.
Really?
It was the wildest thing.
Huh.
I just don't understand how technology works.
Yeah.
I would assume that if the power is off to something, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I guess it's just magic.
It just must be. That's the only thing I can explain. But speaking of technology, did you happen to see the pictures from James Webb, the new telescope?
Yeah, somebody said it looked like a kitchen countertop.
A kitchen countertop, yeah. It was actually really cool when you look at those pictures compared to, the Hubble pictures. Because a lot of them were, taken in the same spot or whatever. And just, the amount of clarity that this one has versus the Hubble. Because even at the time when we had the Hubble pictures, they were pretty...
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, especially for that moment in time.
Yeah. But this one, it was just I remember looking at it, I was like, Jesus, that's
wild. It's wild looking.
It's wild looking because that's so far out and it's that clear.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the galaxies, the spirals of the galaxies are so far away and everything. But I mean, it's technically not like a camera.
Yeah.
It didn't take a snapshot and then have it develop a picture.
Yeah.
It was an array of red light sensors. Is that it? Red
I think
wavelength. So. It's supposed to be more sensitive to red light.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and then it does a composite image based off the data it receives.
Yeah, there's a lot of science there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it technically works the same way I guess a digital camera would.
I mean, it would have to have some features that makes it work like a camera works. I mean, that's our understanding of how to take a still image of something would be a camera. So I'm assuming that's baseline for the knowledge that you're using to create this thing.
I haven't the slightest idea how a camera works at all. Even that seems like magic to me. Yeah. It's when they first did cameras in the Wild West or whatever, and they were just oh my God, it's fucking witchcraft.
Was it they had a thing they'd hold up, had a bunch of black powder on
phosphorus or something
phosphorus.
In it. A dude that throws a blanket over his head. And he's all right, everybody.
Yeah. Had a big handlebar mustache.
Yeah. That would be 5 cents.
They wore some suspenders in a bowler hat.
Yeah. It was kind of funny too because when people first started taking pictures, they were doing it the way that portraits used to be made, like when people had their portraits painted. And when people had their portraits painted, they would just like sit very still, stoic, not smile and anything like that, because it's hard to hang on to a smile the whole time somebody's painting you. So it's funny seeing those pictures that happen instantly, and everybody's still like, doing this thing, because that's all they knew how to do. They didn't know to smile and be goofy and whatnot.
Yeah, can you imagine like being the first? Was it? And this might be incorrect, but I thought like at some point like Native Americans, like they were like, you can't take my picture, because they thought it had something to do with like
stealing their souls.
I've
heard that before, but I don't know if it was Native Americans. I have definitely heard that though.
That sounds like something to make up. They're like super racist.
Oh yeah, like somebody's grandpa. He's like, I need something.
In fact,
new.
I think I might have heard that from my grandpa.
It's like, I need a new racist thing. I've run through all the old stuff. What's something? Indians don't like their pictures made because it steals their soul. No, I didn't know that, Grandpa.
I will propagate that down through the generations.
Oh, it's kind of funny how that works, huh? Well, let's go ahead and bring in the podcast, in case we have any happenings. Hello and welcome everybody to the 33rd episode of the Thicc Bois podcast. This is our third, or technically fourth, attempt to record this episode. So last week we tried to record, and our power flickered that morning. And so when Wesley got here, I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it all the way through an episode. And I was like, our power is kind of acting goofy, because it was storming that day, I think, or it stormed the day before.
Yeah, I think it stormed the day before, because like directly after it did rain, but
yeah,
I don't really remember hearing any thunder or lightning or anything like that. So
yeah, well, all last week it was kind of storming intermittently.
Yeah.
Well, we got down here, and I think we recorded for probably 40 or 50 minutes, and then we lost power, and then it came right back on. But it was just enough for us to lose everything.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, that was like that was more than half of an episode. So we tried it again, and then I noticed that, you noticed, because the computer sits behind me, that the audio was recording wrong.
Yep.
And so we had to restart again. That was about 10 minutes in.
Yep.
And then we got another 40 minutes into the episode 33, the third time, and the power went off, and it stayed off for like 7 hours.
Yeah, after that third time, we're like, oh, we're just going to call it a day.
Yeah, we just called it a wash. I think this one's... I think we lost this one. But we did... The good news is, though, we did find a way to set our program up to autosave. I think every 5 minutes. So at least we'll have backup in case something does happen.
Yeah, I figured there had to be some type of way to take like intermittent backups or something like that, or like a timed backup, where it would save the file or whatever.
One of the programs that I use at work auto saves like constantly, like anytime you put an input in, it saves. And because I'm going into files that lots of other people are going into.
Yeah.
Oh God! Everybody wants you to be very careful about what you add or change or do anything like that. So the whole time I'm in there, I'm like, I hope to God I don't accidentally delete something that is like super important.
Yeah.
And nobody has told me to do this, but what I do is I'll take that file and I'll make a copy. I'll go into the copy and do the work that I need to do, and then copy and paste my work into the original copy, and then just get out of it immediately. Because I'm like, I don't want to fuck anything up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, some of these files have been, like, they're CAD files, and they've been drawn on and worked on for, like, 10 plus years. And it was like...
You're like, this is the only copy.
Yeah, the sacred text.
Yeah. You look, I'm like, have you thought about making a backup?
Well, I know they have several backups and everything like that, but it's a pain if something does go wrong. Yeah. Because then they got like rollback servers and all that stuff. So yeah, it doesn't make it any less nerve-wracking every time I open up a file.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to fuck something up.
That's what at my job, like we have like some configuration spec sheets that we use, and like. It makes it difficult because we have a bunch of people that have access to them, especially when you're working on a project that like your customer's on. So, like, the customer's in there working in it or whatever, and then you're also in there working in it.
Mm.
So then you
a
go in.
lot of hands.
Yeah,
a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. So most of the time, like, I'll be like, hey, like, you do your work at the beginning of the day, and I won't touch it until after lunch.
Right.
Then after lunch, I'll go in and do what I need to do.
Speaking of lunch, so when's the last time you had Subway? Has it been a while?
It's been a while.
So there's a Subway that's like not even a tenth of a mile away from my office.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll go to Subway and just grab it. It'll be quick. It'll be cheap. It was neither of those things. And Subway has gotten ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
I went in there and I got like a foot-long veggie on wheat with like a bottle of water and some of those like kettle chips or whatever.
Yeah.
$17.
It was $17
It was
for that?
$17 for that.
Like, I'm not coming here anymore.
Yeah, I was like, it's like, this is not worth $17 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And you have the gall to ask me for a tip at the end of this?
Yeah, fuck you.
You made a sandwich. I mean, Mary and I went to fucking Golden Corral not long ago. It was like $15 a person. You're telling me Subway is $2 more?
Yeah, $2 more.
Which, by the way, Golden Corral was fantastic. It was actually really good. I had like steak and fried chicken and fish and mashed potatoes and anything that I wanted, as much as I wanted, plus ice cream.
Yeah.
And then I got this like cardboard sandwich with old vegetables on it for $2 more. You're out of your fucking mind, Subway. I remember when Subway first came to like Villa Rica, and they had that one. It was the one over there by Ingles.
One over there in the corner.
It was like the best. Everybody loved Subway. Went to Subway all the time. You couldn't beat the meatball marinara sub. You couldn't.
No.
It was like the best thing we had. But now that like, I don't know what's gotten into them.
Well, apparently too, like the barrier for entry is pretty low for Subway. Like I think that the franchise is like, to franchise one of those, I think does not cost very much. I think it might be the lowest. That's why there's so many of them.
I would believe that because usually you don't see any standalone Subways. They're usually like in like the smallest suite of like a strip mall or something.
Yeah.
And it's all like cold cuts and like chopped vegetables, so it's not like they're having to like really cook anything.
No.
Like I know they don't make that bread there.
No.
It comes in on a truck and then they heat it up.
Yeah. Looking at you, Panera.
Yeah. Come get your microwaved food.
Yeah.
So lots of places are like that. Any cook from Olive Garden will tell you that that's how they cook everything there.
Yeah.
It's all microwaved.
Yeah, they might like to make it look like, oh, we create the Alfredo sauce on site.
Oh,
like,
no, you don't.
No, you don't.
It's made in a factory. Yeah, it comes out of a big, giant metal funnel into a bag, and then it goes out the door.
Yeah. There's a machine that splooges it into a can.
You enjoying your pasta nut? Well, let's talk about Super Cringe Thursday for the fourth time.
Yeah, the fourth time.
So we'll start with the nurse. So we got two to cover, as has kind of been the
running
theme of late. So the first one we'll talk about is the latest, or the earliest one that we posted. It was the nurse who posted like the cringiest TikTok that I've ever seen.
It's bad.
And like of course everybody's seen some pretty cringy TikToks, like people lip syncing to songs when they're far too old to be doing that kind of thing. But this was cringy because it was just so like, it was so masturbatory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so the thing is like her standing in like the hallway at the hospital that she works at, and she's like pantomiming like she's going through all these like these emotions. Mm-hmm. She's like, standing with her hands on the back of her head,
and then she like puts her hands on her knees.
Yeah,
like
leans over and bends over and puts her hands on her knees,
Yeah.
like she's just really going through it.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's like, I just lost a patient.
5 more hours.
Five more hours to go, and then like we had mentioned, like, you know, she's adding captions to the video, and she's like, you know, she makes up this person who tells her like, "Oh, you're overreacting," or something like that. It's just like.
I always think it's like the funniest. Well, not the fun. Is the cringiest is when somebody does this thing where they make up this person that's like the villain.
Yeah.
It's like this person is like the person that hates them the most.
Yeah.
But
they
it's
create
like,
this antagonist.
That person's not there.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They don't exist.
They only exist in those captions that you added to the video. I see people do that a lot. Like I've seen those videos. I've seen videos like that where, like, you know, it's always somebody in their car, right? It's always in a car. And somebody's recording themselves, and it's usually like some girl, and the villain that she made was some man who was like, you know, saying mean things to her. And she's like, and then I punched him in the face, and everybody clapped. Yeah. And everybody in the comments are like, "You go, girl. Ooh, Queen Slay." Yeah. And it's like, none of that happened.
It's like, I was there. I was the fist.
Which begs the question, did this nurse actually lose a patient? And because either way, it's bad either way.
No.
It's bad either way. It's gross either way. If a patient actually died and then she went out immediately.
And you used it for TikTok likes.
Went out into the hallway and recorded that fucking TikTok. Because then
I guess, like, at what point do you think, if that was the case, let's say that a person actually did pass away.
Like, when did she have the idea to do that?
When did she go, ooh?
I think when she realized he was close.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think it was like sometime after.
Yeah.
I think that the guy was probably surrounded by his family, and they were all saying their final goodbyes, and she's standing out in the hallway, and she's like, "This is perfect for my TikTok." Just as cold and detached as she could ever be. So, I mean, yeah, it's gross if it actually happened, but it's also gross if it didn't happen because, you know, it leaves me to believe that she would do that.
Yeah.
If it actually happened.
It's like, even if that hasn't happened,
she's fantasizing
then
about
you
it.
fetishized this scenario in your head so much that you've decided to make a TikTok video on it.
Yeah. You know, it's like you said, it's always interesting to think about like the meta, the thought process that goes behind doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she has to record the video. She has to go and go into the app and do her little edits and add her captions. And she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be a banger."
Oh yeah.
You know?
This is gonna get so many likes.
It's just so fucking gross. Do
you think that she thought that it might blow up the way that it did?
I think she thought that it was going to blow up because people were going to see how, you know, emotionally strong she is and this, that, and the other. And when it blew up because people started calling her out for being a jackass, I don't think she expected that.
Yeah.
I had mentioned the last time we talked about this that there was that girl who was like a vet tech or something like that. And wherever she was working or something, they had a big banana boa, big long yellow snake. And I guess it died overnight. And so she came in, and she recorded herself sobbing hysterically, holding the snake, which is not a candid thing that happened, right? It was, she clearly set up her camera to record, and then went and grabbed the snake.
Yeah, it's just like, oops, my phone fell on the ground and started recording me.
Yeah, while I was crying about my snake. That's why I love the video that the guy does to make fun of it, where he walks into the room, he goes, "Oh no, my snake died," and he walks over and he sets his camera up and he presses record, and he walks over to the snake and he waits for the countdown, and then he goes, "Ah!"
Yeah,
because it's what she did.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like when I see that kind of stuff, like I lose a lot of hope. I lose a lot of faith in humanity.
Yeah.
Like, maybe an asteroid would be best.
My respect for the general populace.
Yeah.
It decreases by a good.
Although
by a fair amount.
her getting just absolutely ramrodded.
That's true. That's true. That always makes it a little bit better. Like if you're ever scrolling through whatever social media app you happen to be on, and you see some really stupid shit, like a horrible take, or like some stupid video, and you go into the comments and you're like, you're usually expecting everybody to kind of be in agreement with whatever the stupid thing was. But on those rare occasions where people are like, "This ain't it," it's like you're like, "Okay, I'm not crazy." It's everybody's we're all kind of on the same page about this thing, whatever it is.
It's like I think it would be more acceptable, not for this particular instance, but it's more acceptable like cringe stuff, like kids, like when kids do it.
They don't know better.
Yeah, because they don't know any better.
Yeah, they're what, 11 years old.
Yeah,
they've had 8 years of consciousness.
Yeah.
To figure out how to be part of the social construct thing that we have. Yeah, if you're 40, you're old enough to know, you have enough experience to know this is a fucking weird and stupid thing to do.
Yeah, like I said, it always just kind of cracks me up because it's like what you're doing is you've created like this villain in your head.
Yeah.
And it's like that you do that when you're in the shower. Like you like play out this fantasy of like, what would I do during a bank robbery?
Yeah. I'd sneak up behind the guy and stab him in the neck with a pencil.
And snap his neck like a toothpick.
Yeah. But could you imagine if you were like...
It's like, oh no, I've said the quiet part out loud.
What if you were sitting at a bus stop and some random dude sat down next to you and said, "You know what I'd do during a bank robbery?" You'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing,
like,
dude?
I don't care.
I don't care, and no, you wouldn't."
You'd cower and shit your pants just like every other person in there.
Our other cringe video.
Ugh. That one was bad.
That one was bad. That one had a hint of like that this person might be prone to domestic violence.
You think? You think?
So the second video was, I assume there's some kind of TikTok challenge going around where from what I understand, there's a song that plays and when the beat drops, you try to kiss your crush and see how they react. And this is a bad idea for several reasons.
No.
Because people don't like to be randomly kissed.
No.
Kissing is a very intimate thing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, it is, when you have your first kiss with somebody, it's, there's a lot of like subtle signals given by both parties.
Yeah.
If the person is sitting and turned away from you, that's usually sign number one. Yeah. They don't want to kiss you.
I'm not interested.
Yeah. So in the video, it's this guy and this girl sitting there. And he looks like he's so tense, right? Yeah. Like the whole time he's just like, I'm going to kiss her.
Yeah.
Has,
that stupid mushroom top hair.
That fucking
haircut.
Mushroom top haircut that all the Gen Z kids have.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It looks so fucking stupid.
I just don't understand. I don't get it.
Why do they all have it? Every single one.
Yeah. Did we have a haircut like that? Was that something that people were doing?
It's like a generational haircut?
Yeah.
Maybe frosted tips. But not everybody had that.
Well, I feel like that kind of fell out towards like the time we got into high school. That wasn't really as much of a thing anymore. Like, nobody was really walking around with frosted tips when I was a senior in high school.
And it didn't last very long at all anyway.
Yeah.
It was like on the tail end of the 90s.
Yeah, that was like a very like early 2000s like nu metal deal.
Yeah, yeah. It was very short-lived, flash in the pan, as it should have been.
Yeah. It's like I'm a massive Fred Durst fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anything like that. Nothing like the mushroom top haircut. That it has persisted for far too long.
I feel like it's sort of, I guess it'd sort of be like the mullet. Like the mullet was like a very generational haircut.
Yeah. Well, the mullet's coming back though.
Yeah.
I'm seeing mullets out in the wild.
Yeah.
Nature is healing.
Imagine somebody having like the mushroom top and then like long in the back.
Oh God. What are you doing? Yeah, so this mushroom top fellow, he's sitting there, and I don't know if he's trying to psych himself up to kiss the girl or whatever.
Yeah.
But when the time comes for him to kiss her, now it's the whole time she's sitting there like she's looking. They have a camera set up.
Yeah, she's like putting some Nutella on a piece of bread or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that. Like she's not in the same like headspace as this guy is. So he like leans in a couple times to try and kiss her, and she's like
he's pulling away from him.
Yeah, she's like moving her face away, which is like the clearest signal that I don't want to kiss you. So he says, I have the perfect solution to this.
Yeah, so bad.
And he reaches out and grabs her fucking neck.
Yeah.
And drags her head over to
like some type of fucking caveman. He might as well have hit her over the head with a fucking club.
He like dragged her by her hair back to his bedroom.
Yeah, he like grabs her by the neck and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like when you pull on a dog's leash too hard.
Yeah, and even like after that, like he like goes in to like kiss her and he's like very aggressive about it.
Yeah, he's like mushing his face into her face.
And he's like his lips are like on the top of her lip.
Yeah. Just imagine if like afterward was it good for you?
It's like, ma'am, if you're ever listening to this, I hope that you never see that person again.
Yeah, I hope that you get a restraining order. Why did he grab her neck so hard? I think he was going for like a quick, like spontaneous, like romantic thing.
Yeah, except he like grabbed her by the neck. He's just like, he must have been like, come here, bitch.
It's so bad.
Like he's like some type of like fucking pimp trying to get money from one of his hoes.
Like his thumb was like in her like this part of her neck.
The first time I was like, whoa, that is aggressive.
Yeah, when I saw it, I thought, oh, he's gonna beat her ass. He was holding her neck like Thanos was holding Vision at the end of Infinity War when he pulled the stone out of his head. Your comment that you posted underneath that with the character from Killer Bean, dies of cringe. It just falls over. Have you ever seen Killer Bean?
I think so. It's been a while though.
It was made by one dude.
Really?
The whole entire thing was he did all the voice acting. He did all like the 3D models, the music, everything. He did all of it, and it's like a feature length. It's like a hour and 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
And he just put it up on YouTube for free.
See, I feel like that's what YouTube should be used for.
That's right. I think I think that was the original idea.
Yeah, the original intent of
people
YouTube.
To create creative things and put it up there for everybody to see. And now it's like this, I apologize deeply for that. I don't know why that went off or what that was. Yeah, I just don't. I don't like that. The lifeblood of YouTube is like these quote unquote YouTuber. Even though the word YouTuber, almost kind of has like a negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was like, "Oh, so and so's son is a YouTuber," you're kind of like, I'd rather hear so and so's son is a porn star.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, well, good for him." But yeah, it's the and it's like I've said before. If you go to YouTube's like homepage and you look at like what's trending,
well, now it's
the most bizarre thing. It's like I've never heard of any of these people.
Yeah, and like everything like the recommended tab or whatever. Well, it might not even be the recommended tab, but if I go to like the desktop version, there's like, it has like like your recommended or whatever, which it uses like the algorithm to pick out like, oh, you might be interested in these things. And then below it, like you scroll a little bit down, like all it is fucking news stories.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you think I want that?
Yeah.
Get it off my screen.
It's like the thing I want to see the least.
The least.
Yeah.
It's like, who's clicking on this?
It's hard to imagine that person that, is like, oh, I can't wait. My favorite YouTube family just posted a new video of them having an argument in the car. It's 11 minutes long.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's some quality content. Meanwhile, you got a dude who makes a whole movie by himself.
Yeah.
And nobody knows about it.
Yeah, I guess I just don't. I guess it's just like reality TV.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the concept of why it is that reality TV is so popular. I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but the thing with reality TV is most of that's scripted anyway.
Yeah. A lot of it is.
So you have like writers like, oh, this would be funny. This would be like a comedic break here.
Yeah.
Like, so we're gonna try to like make it look like it's reality.
Yeah.
It's like, but
they're pulling some strings.
Yeah, they're pulling some strings, right? Yeah. They're like, hey, like we're gonna go do this, and at some point you need to say this.
Yeah.
So look for a space, look for timing. It's like, because that like when people go in to do those shows, it's like they'll look for people who they think, oh, that person's got a lot of charisma.
Yeah. They're
like,
looking for characters.
We're looking for characters, right?
Yeah.
We're not looking for like normal people.
Yeah, because if you had a show of like 10 normal people, it'd be boring.
Yeah, it'd be boring as fuck.
Nobody would want to watch it. Like 10 normal people who look normal.
Yeah.
But if you get 10 charismatic hot people and you put them on an island, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's 1 million views every time an episode comes out.
Exactly.
So I think the first one was like, what, Survivor? I guess it would have been Survivor. When you talk about like reality TV.
Yeah. Well, when I think of reality TV, the one that I think of is Real World.
Real World?
Real World.
Yeah.
That came on MTV. That's the first one I think of when I think of like reality TV.
Is that the one where they all live in a house together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
I feel like there's a lot of them like that, where they all live in the same space.
Yeah, like I think that was the first one, was Real World. And I think the first one might have been in New York. But that was like early 2000, that was like 2000 or like 1999 or like 2000 or something like that. Like as opposed to like Survivor, which to me that's more like a game show.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean it very much does have like a lot of like reality TV type stuff to it, because like it's not just them playing the games, you know. Like they're also just like, oh, there's all this drama because Chelsea doesn't like Megan.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to beat you in this next competition, bitch.
Like, listen to me, Chelsea. They do the talking head version. Like, listen to me, Chelsea. You're going down. And then they play that fucking sound effect of like the metal scraping or whatever. They all use the same sound effects. That's the worst part about it all, though, right? It's all the same. They're all interchangeable with one another. It's like, not to name drop, but Mary likes that one reality show where they're all on the boat together. It's like they're all like, it's a bunch of like yacht workers.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, because
because why not? Why wouldn't that be a thing that we do now?
They so that it's a show about okay, here's I'll give you my synopsis. I've never watched an episode.
No.
I've only seen her watch it like 5 minutes worth is what I've ingested.
Yeah.
10 people work on a yacht that they charter out to people who don't know what to do with their money.
Yeah.
For vacations. These 10 people, sometimes they like each other, sometimes they don't like each other, sometimes they fuck each other.
Oh, okay.
They all have Australian accents.
Ah.
And they're emotionally stunted.
So the Australian accent is the twist.
Maybe.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like I guess it's the icing on top.
Yeah. It gives it a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. So we got a show about people on a boat where it's like, we need a little bit of zazz. What you got? Make them all Australian.
That's a fresh perspective.
And it's just like every episode's the same, right?
Yeah.
Like we're here in such and such place. Oh no, something went wrong. We got it fixed at the last second. Just tune in next week.
Cunt.
But think about like the shows where they where they build houses, right, and like work on cars.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's like Orange County Choppers. You remember that show, like with the dad and the son?
Oh, that was the worst one.
Yeah.
It was very quickly not about motorcycles anymore. It was about these two people who hated each other.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, we got a order to build like a Dodge Grand Caravan and put like a Hemi engine in it and do all this, that, and the other, and it's for Burt Reynolds, and oh no, something went wrong at the last second. If we don't get this out, the mafia is going to kill my wife. And it's like I know it's not that intense. We've all worked jobs before. People miss deadlines all the time.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
It's like some jobs that I've worked, they constantly miss deadlines.
Yeah, I would wager that if you're not missing deadlines, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah. Either that or your salesmen are not working hard enough and they've overpacked the system.
Yeah, you're supposed to oversell your company's abilities.
Yeah.
Then it's up to you to match it.
Yeah, it's the one that Allison, and I haven't seen her watch in a while, but she used to watch it, was, what was the name of that show? I can't remember the name, Southern Charm or something, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But essentially what it is a bunch of white trash people with a lot of money.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and they live in Charleston, South Carolina. And I told Allison, I was like, you do know, this is like trailer trash people that happen to live in mansions.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
Yeah. It's like if you took people from...
I could take you down the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we could go sit outside the trailer park. You can see all the same shit.
And watch it for free.
Yeah.
You want to go see a live show?
But it is kind of funny, how simply just having the money kind of changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
It's
like, let's see what happens if you give poor people a bunch of money. They immediately ruin themselves.
Yep. Well, and
The Great Gatsby tried to warn us.
Yeah. What was it? I saw somebody post something that said that if 50 Shades of Grey was written about a dude in a trailer park, it would have been a Criminal Minds episode.
No doubt. The only thing that made any of that okay was the fact that he was a billionaire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You imagine somebody being be like, hey, get my 2002 Dodge Grand Caravan, and then come back to my fuck trailer.
My fuck trailer. She's like, what is this? He's like, it's my playroom. It's just a fucking trailer with cigarette butts everywhere, half-eaten potato chip bags. There's just a dildo in the sink. Don't use that one. I ain't had a chance to clean it yet. They turned my water off.
Got his finger in his belly button. Oh, God.
It had to be something like 50 Shades of Ray.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Ray.
When you said the finger in the belly button, it reminded me of Dodgeball, that scene from Dodgeball where Zach Long is cleaning. They're doing the car wash.
He's cleaning that truck or whatever.
Yeah. He was like, the only customer we've had all day is that weird guy who keeps asking Zach to clean his truck. And he's standing there fingering his belly button. He's like, get in there, D-Block.
I just see I see Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. When I think of something like that.
I love that that clip where Carl he got that 40-foot long boner. And he's like, every time he was on screen, it was off screen. And the first time he had it, he was like, call the neighbors, I want them to see this. Yeah, that definitely wouldn't have worked.
No.
It wouldn't have worked
No
any
way.
other way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way. I don't even think it could be like a middle class, like somebody who lives in the suburbs.
No, even that, yeah, because it's kind of even just as weird, if not weirder.
Weirder. Yeah.
Because then it's like...
like I expect somebody that's like...
Yeah.
Like maybe in a trailer, like, yeah, this is a trailer. I mean,
like if it was dude a trailer, you could see him being like kind of brash and bold about it. Like that's, he's very unashamed of who he is. But if it was like a middle class dude in like a suburb, it's like a dark secret.
Yeah.
Like somebody's dad.
Some like 42-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Wearing some jorts and like a polo.
Yeah. Or I was thinking like a meek man wearing like a sweater and like a pair of reading glasses. Yeah. It was like
it's like walking with like trash bags lining everything. Like yay,
wowie. He was like, sorry, I took out a second mortgage on my home. I can't afford a gimp suit, so you're gonna have to wear this hefty bag. It's like, did you ever see Disturbia?
Was that the one with Shia LaBeouf in it or whatever? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the whole point of that one was like he was under house arrest, I think.
Yeah.
So his like the only thing he could do was like watch his neighbors from his window.
Yeah.
And like he ended up, seeing like his neighbor across the street like doing some creepy shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they break into his house and find out he's a murderer.
Yeah.
I seem to remember that he had dug a maze under his house.
That sounds correct. It's been such a long time since I've seen that movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
It was a very good movie. I don't know if it's held up, but
yeah, I don't know if it has either. But I like that like suburbia, like something's awry in the neighborhood, something's afoot. You know what I mean? Like there's a creepy neighbor. There's something interesting about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it resonates with us because we had a really shitty neighbor growing up.
Yeah. Not necessarily creepy, just shitty.
Not creepy, just shitty. But
although I do think that neighbor probably killed that old lady.
Well, we saw her dragging her up the hill by her arm.
That's true.
We saw that.
Yeah, and made her like carry that brick over her head.
Yeah, we
like,
saw
up
that.
and down that hill. I did see that. That did happen.
But the other one I was thinking of was I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's like those people break into a blind dude's house, but he was like a ex like Navy SEAL or something.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Where he can like hear him breathing or whatever.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Yeah. So that's kind of they break into a dude's house and he's like a creepy something's up.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie, which I guess spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it, where they find out that his daughter died.
Yeah, that does sound right.
And so he was trying to make a new daughter.
Yeah.
Via a sex slave that he had in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to impregnate her and have a new daughter.
Yeah.
What's the plan after that?
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a shot where they that's the thing. They think she's a sex slave, but he's not. He does have her kidnapped. He does plan to impregnate her, but he's going to do it like artificially.
Yeah, in vitro.
In vitro,
right?
yeah. So they show this scene where he's got like a cup of semen.
Oh yeah, does he do it like with a turkey baster?
Yeah, he sticks a turkey baster in there, but the camera is pointing up at the bottom of the cup, and there's a fucking pube floating around in the. Makes me want to gag. Ugh. So nasty.
I think probably one of not, I guess worst isn't like, as far as like horror movies are concerned. I guess the one that made me feel the most uneasy was what was the name of that movie? It was like Down Below or something like that, where they go spelunking in this cave.
Oh yeah,
and like they get lost.
Yeah. Are you claustrophobic?
I'm not claustrophobic, but the idea of like mole people, like and I can't see anything.
Subterranean,
yeah, subterranean people, like attacking you. You're never gonna get out of this cave. They're gonna like eat you down there.
Yeah. Not being able to see what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a very primal fear that all humans have. That's like a leftover evolutionary trait.
Yeah. Yeah. Not too keen on that. I don't like that at all.
There was another one like that. Is where they go like in the catacombs in Paris, as above, so below, something like that, or so above, as below, something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one, but
that's a real place in Paris, though.
Yes,
the catacombs with all the skulls and everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to put those dead people somewhere.
I would assume, but why stack all their heads up in a?
Well, I mean, look how many people they decapitated.
That's true. Yeah, France did love their guillotines.
Yeah,
yeah. The first time they whipped that bad boy out, they're like, "Oh, this is."
Yeah,
this is the
France
one.
is really known for like their revolutions.
They really are. Like 99% of the time, they're just kind of lazy and not doing anything.
Yeah.
The other 1% of the time, they're just fucking up the government.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I guess it's about that time. Break out the guillotine.
Speaking of revolution, did you see where Sri Lanka, where they like overran their Senate and like
I saw
the president left the country?
He was like, he dipped. I was like,
got on a ship and left.
I didn't see that. I did see like there was some stuff going on about Sri Lanka. I didn't realize that's what was happening over there.
Yeah, because they like showed, I guess, like first they went to like the presidential palace or whatever and like overran that, and there was like thousands and thousands and thousands of people that went there and did that, and then they went to like Congress and did it there, is like, and then they went to the National Bank and went in there too.
Wow.
So
they started at the top and worked their way down.
No.
Wow.
Like you probably should have started at the bank.
Well, yeah. You'll have to forgive me. My geography's a little poor, but where is Sri Lanka?
Southeast Asia, I think, somewhere down there. I haven't looked it up on the map, but I don't think it's like in that archipelago down there, like with all the islands and everything. I think it might be mainland.
Like over near the Philippines somewhere?
Maybe.
So what kind of government do they have? If they have like a Congress and everything,
I assumed it was some type of democratic or like republic.
Yeah. But they had, when you said presidential palace, it made me think they're like kind of dictatory.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about like other countries, like their like governments and like how they run things.
Yeah.
I know about the U.S. and I know a little bit about Canada because they're right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, other than that, it's like I still don't really understand like what the point of having a queen is as far as like England's concerned. I guess it's just like a head of state deal.
She's just like a figurehead.
Yeah, but they still have like all this money, and I'm assuming they get like some type of payment from like the people.
That money is probably theirs because she does come from like King Henry and that lineage.
Yeah.
So that's generational wealth.
Yeah. But I'm assuming still it's like they're probably getting funded by taxpayer dollars as well. Like I'm assuming that they're still getting money from taxpayer dollars. Yeah. It's like they're not providing goods and services. So
they're just the royal family.
Yeah, they're just the royal family.
Yeah. I know. Well, they have was it the Parliament?
Yeah,
that's
Parliament.
their governing body.
Yeah, Parliament's like their governing. So like I think that's sort of like their Congress, right?
I think it's like an all-encapsulating thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what their parliament is. So I think it does all the same things that our
but it's just not separated by the three
so we
judicial
have
systems.
The whole point of ours being separated into three is, quote unquote checks and balances to make sure that nobody's fucking anybody else over. But it turned out that they all just joined hands and said we can fuck over everyone together. Yeah. It's one big
like
happy
the Who's
fuck
down
family.
in Whoville.
Fa-hoo, lore, fa-hoo. Bunch of fuckers.
So, I mean, I don't really know how, like, Sri Lanka's government is. I don't know how it's set up.
Yeah.
I would assume it's some type of, like, democracy, maybe. I mean, that seems like a pretty common theme these days.
Yeah.
It's either a dictatorship or it's a democracy.
Yeah.
Or it's
usually sometimes it's a very thinly veiled dictatorship.
Yeah, or usually it's like communism, like masquerading as like some type of democracy.
Yeah. It's like we're communist, like when it comes to the people, but we're like way capitalist when it comes to our economy.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, because we really like the power over the populace, but we also really like all this money.
Yeah. It's like, but at any point I want to be able to crush my opponent directly under my thumb.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
It's always, when you think back on like governments, like as they existed, say like, way, way back. Take England, for example. You had the royal family.
Mm-hmm.
The king was the one with the power.
Yeah, you had was it like an oligarchy? Is that what they called it?
Is an oligarchy a royal family? Is that what that is?
Well,
that would have been a monarchy.
Yeah, monarchy.
An oligarchy makes me think there's several figures of power.
Well, I mean, you still have like dukes and duchesses and all that stuff. So,
they would like distribute power down to like.
Correct. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're just one person.
Yeah.
If you've got this massive empire,
yeah.
You kind of have to spread some of that out.
No. And you have to give power to like some incompetent fool.
Some bumbling fool. Yeah. Duke Bufus of Edinburgh is here, Your Highness.
Like, oh, fuck, not this guy again.
I hate Duke Bufus. Send him in. Greetings, Your Majesty. I just wanted to let you know, everyone's dead. So there won't be any more taxes coming from Edinburgh.
You can see like his jacket's like misbuttoned.
Yeah. It's like hair's all disheveled. Where are your shoes? I took them off so I could get here faster. Yeah, but I mean, all that power, eventually funneled back up into that one person.
Yeah.
But when you think about what the king did, like his day to day, was he a busy man? Did he have meetings? Was he, or did he just laze about and fuck? And I know King Henry did.
Yeah.
And murder his wives and
and rewrite the Bible and
yeah, so he could get a divorce. Oh man.
Yeah, like anytime somebody like brings up, it's like this is the true version of the Bible. It's like do you want to hear some history about that Bible?
That Bible exists because of one man's penis.
Yep.
That's why the King James Version Bible exists.
Yep. Yeah, it's just when people bring that up, it's like I just don't. I can't truly be like this is like a divine book because just there's been too many people put their hands on it.
Oh yeah.
It's like I don't. It's like you kind of have to like go through it and be like makes sense, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what they did.
Yeah.
But
I'm also not like rewriting it for like future generations. I can be like, here's what my thought is on it.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, no.
You're not ripping pages out.
I'm not like ripping pages out and being like, oh yeah, this came from God.
Yeah. This perfectly benefits me in every single way. Yeah. This is the word of God. I know that the Vatican has got apparently some books from the Bible. Like in their city or whatever, like in their vault.
Yeah, down in the vault that they have.
Nobody's ever seen before.
No, you can't go read them. Doesn't that
that
sound...
is fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah, it's like, no, I should be able to read them.
That sounds like there's something
like
in there.
Pertinent information.
Yeah, that sounds like there's something in there I really need to read.
Yeah. You think that'd be like important information for everybody to know?
Yeah, like how can you just lock away a huge portion of like our holy book and say, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Well, and not only that, but the fact that they've done it and like nobody's been like, no, give it to it. We're going to read it.
Yeah, nobody's done like a raid.
Yeah.
Let's get the Sri Lankans over here. We'll get our hands on those things.
Well, I mean, the Vatican is like in the middle of Italy, which Italy is like known to have a very corrupt government. So,
yeah.
Like, did you know that at one point, like, there was a bunch of geologists that got arrested in Italy because they didn't predict an earthquake, and they like threw them in prison.
What?
Yeah, that's a true story.
What did they think geologists did?
I don't know.
Did they think that they predicted earthquakes?
I don't know.
Like they sat around a ball like, oh.
Like some type of like seer.
Yeah.
Like they're like up on a mountaintop.
Yeah. They have to bring him like...
Bring us a virgin.
Virgin olive oil. Yeah, so like... He's like all fucking like an incest baby, like predict the earthquake, oh great seer, or we'll throw you in prison for getting it wrong. That's funny. I didn't know that. It's funny too when you think about it. A lot of people forget that Italy was on the Nazi side in World War II.
Yeah, they just didn't do anything. Like
No, and then once the Axis or once the Allied powers started gaining ground, they were like, "Oh, we're going to jump in."
Never mind.
Like Italy, whose side are you on? Who's winning?
It was like what was I saw
They
like
did that World War I too.
It was like what was it? I saw somebody had like posted a meme, and it's like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme where he's like, "I can't lose because I play both sides."
Yeah, yeah. That was Benito Mussolini. And then it was all over. I'm pretty sure they killed that guy.
I think so.
One of the interesting things about World War II was, I always seem to forget this was, that fighting did reach the UK.
Yes.
Like it went. They
bombed out a lot of buildings.
Britain, yeah. Like the air raids on Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Germans. So the Germans. That was the crazy thing about how the Germans were fighting. We've talked about that before with the Blitzkrieg and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you would just suddenly attack your opponent out of nowhere with overwhelming force, and when you know it, that worked out great almost every single time that they did that. So they just like in the middle of the night one night flew a bunch of planes over Britain, bombed the living fuck out of everything, and then went back to Germany.
Yep.
Nobody was fighting like that at the time.
No. Well, and if you watch and I don't know how accurate these old movies are. Like if you watch old, Civil War movies or Revolutionary War movies or whatever, it's like the way that they fought was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna line up in a fucking line
just to see who lasts.
Yeah, and just shoot indiscriminately into this crowd of people. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
With this gun that takes me 10 minutes to reload.
Yeah. How about no?
They I think the guerrilla warfare tactics weren't a thing until, or at least in America, in the American Revolutionary War, I think is when they first showed up. And it was the French and the Germans that were like, "Why are you guys fighting like that? You can just sneak over there in the middle of the night and kill those guys."
Yeah. Yeah, and that was another thing. It's at dusk, they're like, "Okay, we're done for the day," and then everybody'd go back to their camps. It's like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah. And they'd been back in their camps, and I've been volleying cannonballs into their camps.
Yeah.
And
as soon as they started going back to their camps, we would have went with them.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody would turn around and I'd be like, perfect.
Yeah. Well, they did. They there's several accounts of during the Civil War where both sides would meet before the day's battle.
Yeah, and the generals would go out shake hands.
They have breakfast and take a bath in the river and.
It's so strange. It's so odd.
It is odd.
Yeah, it's almost like you would be like, why are we doing this again?
Yeah,
it's because there's some people that run this whole thing that didn't agree.
Yeah,
so now I have to fight you.
Yeah. That's why they call it the Brother War.
Yeah, it's no, I think I'll go home now.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Yeah, pretty tired.
Bye-bye.
I think I'll go home now.
The Civil War is interesting too when you started to see that was what 1860s.
Yeah, it was 1861 through, or it might have been 1860 through 1864.
Yeah, so not super long ago.
No.
So they started for most battles as far as skirmishes go, the Confederacy won most of them handily. And,
they had the better generals.
Yeah, when you're talking about body counts,
the
Confederacy had the upper hand in almost every single battle.
Yeah.
And then the Union kind of figured out okay, well, who's fighting on the Confederacy? It's a bunch of poor people fighting for the rich families' ability to stay rich.
Exactly.
So then they were like, well, that's not how we do things. And then they kind of started bringing people to their side you don't have to fight and die for rich people who wouldn't do the same for you.
Exactly.
And those Confederate soldiers were like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and I think a lot of people is like, I'm not saying that, that these people probably weren't racist people, because they probably were.
Everybody was.
They probably were. It's like, more than likely, they were probably very racist. Yeah. However, it's like, most of the people that they had fighting for them were dirt farmers that didn't have anything.
They didn't have anything.
That didn't have anything. And it's like, well, if you don't come fight, number one, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to gut you in front of your family.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm going to rape your wife.
Yep.
And then I'm going to burn your house down. And it's like, well, I guess I'll go fight then.
Yeah. What are my options here?
Yeah. And then they were like, but don't tell him we're going to do that anyway when he leaves. Like,
yeah. And so the Union really kind of did a lot to win over like the hearts and minds of like, people who were, didn't have many options anyway down there.
Yeah.
And then, they were also figured out like, okay, well, so all their ammunition and guns are coming from up here.
Yeah.
Because this is where it all gets made.
We'll just cut it off.
We'll just stop sending that shit down there.
Yeah.
And then the Confederates were like, hey, I don't know if we can keep fighting you guys. We don't have any guns. The Union was like, I guess you lose. They were like, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I just don't. I think that a lot of people, like, they don't realize this. Like, a lot of the Confederate soldiers, like, were not like gung ho about having to fight that fucking war.
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm going to lay down my life so we can keep black people as slaves.
Yeah.
No, they went and laid down their lives so that the rich people could keep black people as slaves. Not because they wanted the rich people to, but because they really didn't have any other choice.
Yeah,
It was also an opportunity to like make money.
Exactly.
Because
the plundering and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah, like they weren't making money, growing dust.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about it back then, it's like you really didn't have to participate in like the economy. Yeah. Like you really just had to like grow your own shit. It's like, hey man, like you're responsible. You're responsible to be self-sufficient. There are no other jobs. You are a farmer.
Yeah. It was very libertarian back then.
Yeah, you have to farm your own shit. Yeah. So,
I mean, America, the really only thing that put us in the economic position that we are in, or we're in,
was the fact that all those wars were fought over there.
Yeah, all that death and destruction happened on the other side of the world, for one thing. And also, we were like the concession stand during World War I. It was like, get your guns here, get your bombs here. And then they're like, America, you guys need to like get over there and like be a part of this. And we're like,
It's like, like
fine.
Throw your hands up.
And then we come in. Once we got there, it was over. We said, we won.
Yeah. Yay.
Everybody suck our dicks. We're going back to our utopia with all of your money. And then World War II happened. We did the same thing.
Yeah, did the same fucking thing. Yeah, we didn't come in till like 1944 or something like that. Yeah, so we fought like a year's worth of it, and
and most of that was in the Pacific Theater just because Japan attacked us.
Yeah, because essentially, like once we landed in Normandy, we just like pushed our way into Germany, and then it was over.
Yeah, we met up with the Russians on the other side. We squeezed Germany, who was already at their weakest.
Yeah,
and then we said, "Hey, we won again."
Yep, we win.
We win. Don't mind the fact that we vaporized 1 million people in a day.
Yeah. It's like, don't look over there.
Don't look at that.
Yeah, don't look at that.
He's like, it's kind of funny. Like you see, like a French soldier's like, "Wow, thanks, America. You guys are great. What's going on back there?"
Yeah, just like trying to like move in front of him.
What are you talking about? It seems like millions of people just are skeletons now.
Yeah. All of a sudden, woof.
Yeah, it is really interesting to look at the way that wars were fought.
Yeah.
Just all throughout history. And it's not just the technology changing, right? Because think about World War I, they were still doing trench warfare.
Yeah.
So you would dig a trench. We were still basically standing in rows.
Yeah.
Shooting at one another.
Just now your head's like this far up over the trench.
Yeah. And if you dare to go outside of the trench, it's pretty much a guaranteed death.
Yeah. It was like, have you seen the picture? And I think it might be in like the Netherlands or whatever it is, where like the rolling hills or whatever. Those are just the trenches that they dug out. That like the grass and everything is like overtaking them again.
Yeah. And those people used to get trench foot.
Ugh.
Where you had to, if you wore a wet sock for too long, your foot rotted off. You just had a stump leg. There's bombs going off around you.
Yeah, some dude jumped down in there. Tally ho!
Over the top, lads. Just get fucking Swiss cheesed.
By some dude wearing a dumb fucking helmet with a spike on the top.
I will say that war was much more fashionable back in the old days.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody looked dynamite.
Yeah.
Fucking Thicc Bois designed the Nazi uniforms.
Yeah, what was it? Somebody had posted. It was somebody had contacted. It was like Porsche or whatever, and it was like one of the tanks. They're like, "Hey, do you guys still make this?"
You know, Lamborghini used to make tractors when they first started out, and I don't remember if it was Ferrari or Lamborghini. But somebody was like, I bet you can't make a better car than me. And then Lamborghini was like, okay, here's my better car.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive, most sought after car ever.
Yeah. It was like, have you ever seen the movie? It was like Ford versus Ferrari with
I haven't seen
Christian Bale in it.
I haven't seen it, but
it's really good.
I have heard that it's really, really good.
Yeah, so it's about a 24-hour race. I think it's like Le Mans or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so essentially what it is you have like, they had two different drivers. So you had like the main driver who would drive the car for like 18 hours, right? Yeah. And then like there was like another dude that would drive it for 6. And just like the car's going the whole time.
Yeah.
And so they come in, pit stop, change tires, and
just redlining
it the whole time. And I think like the average speed of the car was like 230, 240 miles an hour. And like getting into a straight, I think he took it up over 300 or something like that.
That's fucking
and this was like back in like the 60s or 70s. I think it was like the very first iteration of the Ford GT.
Yeah.
And it goes through like how they like worked on this car and like how like,
which the Ford GT is a fucking nice looking car.
Yeah.
I love the way that car looks.
Yeah, and I think with those ones you have to like special order it. Like that's not a production car.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it goes through like the whole deal. And apparently too, like the guy that like commissioned it was what's his name? Shelby. The Shelby GT and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that Shelby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 300 miles per hour is so fucking fast.
That's fucking moving.
Be in a car,
yeah,
a 4-wheel.
It might be. It might have been a little bit less than that, but it was like up near 300,
even close to it. Over 200 even is still fucking fast. Because I'm pretty sure like 300 some odd miles per hour is like that's like liftoff speed for like a plane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine going that speed. Like when you're on a plane. Every time I go on a plane, and we go to take off, I always forget just how fast this fucking thing goes right before liftoff. Because, like, you're looking at the runway.
Yeah, you're watching the lines go by.
And you're like, oh, my God. Yeah. This thing is moving.
Yeah.
So I can imagine being in, like, a sedan and going that same speed. And, everything on that car is struggling to hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
All the bolts. Like that fucking guy, I can never remember his name, but the dude out in the Salt Flats who hit the speed of sound.
Oh, yeah, it was like 700-something miles an hour.
761 miles an hour is the speed of sound. So he wasn't going 300. He was going that plus 161 miles an hour more. I feel like at a certain point, does 700 miles per hour feel different than 600 miles per hour?
I'm sure it feels different once you break the sound barrier.
I wonder what that sounded like to him, because he's past the point of where that sound's originating from.
Yeah,
right. Because if you think about it,
I wonder if like somebody was in the car with him. Like, if you're talking to somebody and you're past the speed of sound, are they hearing you? Because you're moving faster than what the sound can keep up with, right? Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah, I don't think you would be able to hear them. Because
your words are back there.
Yeah. So if you're both sitting in a car and there's somebody behind you and you're both moving this direction faster than the speed at which sound can travel.
Yeah.
And this person makes a sound, it's going this direction. Well, I don't know, because you can still walk to the front of a plane while it's flying.
Yeah, but
that force isn't acting on you the whole time.
Yeah. But is it the same like inside of a car?
I honestly have no idea. That's it. It's really interesting though, because you think about like, you know, as far as like the engine's concerned.
No.
The engine's, say the engine's behind you.
No.
You're going in one direction. The sound spreads in all directions.
Yes.
But it spreads uniformly in all directions.
Yes.
That's really interesting to think about. I'm actually not sure. Somebody way smarter than me would have to explain that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it would make sense that, like, if you are traveling faster than the speed of sound,
sorry, everybody, my dog knocked over my mic.
You wouldn't be able to hear what somebody's saying.
That would make sense to me. Yeah.
Just because you're traveling faster than the
speed that it's going,
the speed of which the sound is moving. Yeah. Right.
It's not the same thing, but I mean, it's the same principle. Like, you know, if you're in, so the only reason we can hear sound anyway is because it has a physical medium to travel through.
Correct.
It's all vibrating. It's frequencies.
Yeah.
So when you're in somewhere like in space, there's nothing for the sound to travel through.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to hear you if we were up in space.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. I never want to go to space.
No.
It's I have absolutely zero
horrific. Horrific. I love space. I think it's really neat. I never want to go there.
Oh yeah, it's cool to think about. No. I love all the pictures from the telescopes, but
whatever is left of me will be swallowed by the sun once it collapses in on itself and creates a black hole.
Yeah. Right here on Earth.
You're right here on Earth.
Yeah, I'm not going up there.
Yeah, I'm not going.
That's not my domain.
Yeah. Speaking of space, have you seen the new Suicide Squad movie with like John Cena and Idris Elba in it?
Yeah, actually I have. Yeah.
Did you see the part where it's like at the beginning of it where like John Cena, he plays Peacemaker or whatever, and he's like got a sword and he like hits this dude like in the top of the head with the sword, like kind of splits him open, and the dude kind of like accordions and like falls over. And he's like walking past another dude that's asleep. He's got like an axe. He goes, and he like sticks his axe in him.
Yeah. You talking about when they're storming that camp?
Yeah. It was like the side shot. He's just doing like this, walking down this guy.
That scene was so dumb but I enjoyed it because it was just kind of like fun.
Yeah, comical. It was like a comical type.
Yeah, but it's like brutal murder happening. Yeah. And then they get to the very end and like find out that those were good guys that they all killed, and they all just kind of like wave that off, like, "Oops, sorry."
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, we lit these people on fire and chopped them in half and did all this, that, and the other to them.
Or like the part where like there's like all those rats or whatever, like after that shark thing tries to eat that girl, and John Cena shows up in his underwear. He's like standing there.
Oh yeah.
And Idris Elba's like, he's in his tidy whities, and John Cena's like, that's racist.
I like when they initially they do that initial like attack on the beach, like the opening scene.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and they're like, what does DT stand for? And it was like, he's the detachable kid, and like his like arms come off of his body and like float over. He's like slapping the dudes in the face, and then like later they show like those guys are all shooting the arms, but the dude's standing off to the side going ah. I really enjoyed that movie because it did not take itself seriously.
No.
Whatsoever.
No.
As like Pinhead Jeff Bezos was in that movie, the dude with all the light bulbs in his face.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you couldn't portray that dude seriously.
No.
He's got light bulbs sticking out of his face. Like, we have to be goofy about this. It's the only way this is going to work.
Yeah, the opening scene, because I watched it on the plane because I had to go to the corporate office for the job that I work at, so it was up in New Jersey. And so flying back, I watched that movie or whatever. I was like, well, we'll see what this is all about. And then so I watched like the opening scene, and I was like, okay, you've gotten my attention now.
No, they set the tone very early on, yeah.
Or like the first thing they do is shoot Pete Davidson in the face, so like the front of his face explodes.
Yeah, I feel like, when you have like a stupid, goofy premise like that,
No.
You either have to fully commit if it's kind of a dumb thing.
Yeah.
You have to fully commit to it being dumb, or you have to be 100% serious with like no levity whatsoever.
Yeah. And so you can, and I think like that's kind of the thing that like Marvel gets fucked up on a lot.
Yeah.
Is that like in the Dark Knight movie, like there's no comedic break.
Mm-mm.
Like we've set the tone for what this is.
Front to back. It's
Front
the
to
same
back. Like it's emo Batman.
Yeah.
Like that's just how we're going to play this. But like with Marvel, it's like here's a super serious part. And then like Thor says something stupid.
Yeah, somebody has to make a quip and oh ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that whole scene where they're talking about why Back to the Future did time travel wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I watching Hulk and Ant-Man and War Machine discuss?
Yeah, and it's like not only that, but it's like you're kind of breaking the fourth wall here. Like you want me to believe that me and you exist in the same universe because you've seen the exact same movie that I've seen. That
movie you're talking about exists actually in the real world.
So are we gonna like discuss that at all?
Yeah. Yeah, they played fucking Fortnite in that movie.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's very weird. You can do the same thing, like, they have ice cream in their world too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yeah, but I kind of like at like pop culture references. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't suspend that disbelief.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm drawing the line here.
I will say though, if you watch the Thor movies, like, I don't really remember a whole lot about the first two, because the first two, had like. Okay, first of all, the first Thor movie was basically Dutch angle the movie.
Yeah.
Every single shot was a Dutch angle, like up at an angle, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they're really going for like this. So they tried to portray Thor as like this very serious, like warrior.
Yeah.
So think about who Thor is in that first movie, and then think about him in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Where he's just a fucking bumbling idiot.
Yeah, a dumbass.
And, even further than that, think about him in Endgame.
Yeah.
He was drunk and depressed, and
yeah,
and that's not character development; that's character assassination.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sort of like we talked about, and I don't know if we got around to that in the last one or not, but when I was talking about like how, like after watching like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of neutered the character.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. By the way, I watched that.
Yeah.
I got around to watching that.
I thought the movie was good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It's like you neutered Doctor Strange.
For
like
no reason.
Yeah, for no reason, like whatsoever. Like he's just like this useless idiot.
Yeah, when he was never that.
No.
He was always very competent, like from the get-go. Like,
it's like, I guess, at what point did we acknowledge that Scarlet Witch was like this super powered up individual? Because she wasn't that in any of the other movies.
She was relatively powerful, like, in Endgame, in Infinity War.
Yeah, but compared to like Thanos.
I mean, yeah, compared to Thanos, nobody stopped Thanos.
Yeah.
But, she was like, all of a sudden, she was like fucking Super Saiyan in this movie.
Yeah, it was just, it's odd. Like,
it was odd, yeah.
There wasn't like any, like, there wasn't like them saying why she's that. I mean, I guess because like the demonic part of her took over or something like that. They kind of alluded to it.
Yeah.
But like it didn't make any sense for them to be like, oh, now she's super powerful. But we're not really going to explain like how that came to be.
Yeah.
It's like, because even like if you're talking about canon, and I guess they're not playing to that. They're just playing to like the average like moviegoer.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I just want a good story.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well then I guess Ant-Man's the most powerful superhero now, just because we said so. Like,
because he's our property.
yeah,
and he can be what we want him to. I will say it caught me off guard how brutal that movie got when she fought the Illuminati.
yeah, mm-hmm.
Like, she took away Black Bolt's mouth,
Yeah,
and then he screamed and it blew his brain out of his head.
yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Because really, that's the only part of that movie that gets brutal like that.
It comes out of nowhere. And like you can see his like it blows out the side of his head and then it collapses in.
Yeah.
And all the characters had the same reaction that I had too, which is probably the point of that.
Yeah, and so another thing is too is like I feel like it's pretty like well agreed on at this point, because that's how they made her out to be in Endgame, that Captain Marvel is the strongest superhero.
Yeah.
But Scarlet Witch just dispensed of her, like
that other version of her,
as if it was nothing.
As if it was nothing.
Yeah,
at
so
all.
I don't understand. Like, where are we? Like, is it in this multiverse that she is not the strongest?
It just happens. If they're doing this thing that you see a lot in like,
it's like because Thanos didn't even do that to Captain Marvel. So what are we talking about here?
They're doing this thing that happens to everything that goes on for too long, where everybody is as exactly as powerful as they need to be in order to push the story forward.
Yeah.
There's no like through line of like who's as strong. Think about fucking Dragon Ball. Probably the best example of that, right? There's no through line for who is. I mean, like, I couldn't tell you how strong Piccolo is.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean that it's run its course at this point? We need turnover, or like just leave it alone for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
Just let it lie.
Yeah,
and then come back to it in maybe another 15 years.
You can't just take agency away from a character.
Yeah.
In order to move the story forward. That's dumb.
Yeah.
But the movie was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was good.
I will say.
It was very good.
Speaking of Dragon Ball, did you see the audio that got leaked of all the Dragon Ball voice actors saying really bad things?
No.
There's like this one clip where Goku's like, he's like, "Hi, I'm Goku. My son's a f***it."
Really? Wow.
He's like, "F***. My son's a f***." And he's saying it. It's Sean Schemmel saying it in Goku's voice.
Really?
And it's the funniest fucking thing because it's just like it's like hearing SpongeBob like cuss for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and then like the voice actor for Chi-Chi said some like really like weird incesty things.
Ugh.
I think what they were doing was like they were like doing vocal warm-ups.
Yeah.
And somebody had the record turned on.
Yeah. They're just saying crazy shit.
And they're just saying insane shit into the microphone.
Something that character would never say. Speaking of Dragon Ball, I think that I don't remember if it was Flash Gits or not. It might be Flash Gits.
I love Flash Gits.
Where it's like the one where Mickey Mouse lands on Earth, but Vegeta's there.
Yeah. And
he goes to like sign the papers or whatever to like sign over the rights for Dragon Ball Z over to Disney. And then like at one part, you should go watch it. It's really funny for anybody that hasn't seen it. Like at one part, Vegeta's like, he said something about he's like, I'll sign over the rights as long as I get to see Hilary Duff's muff. And Mickey Mouse is like, I can't do that. He's like, how about her tits? And Mickey Mouse is like, I can maybe swing one. And then like they fly off of the planet because like all like the lawyers show up or whatever. Yeah. And then Mickey Mouse is like stomping Vegeta in the face, trying to get him off the capsule.
You know, it's almost time for them to re-up or change the copyright laws again for Disney.
Oh, really?
They've done that like 5 times Because I think it used to be 20 years. After 20 years, your property becomes
like public
domain or whatever, and people can use it for whatever they want. And then I think Disney has changed it 3 times, so now it's up to like 50 years.
Yeah.
So we're almost there again. So one of two things is going to happen. Either copyright law is going to change again, which, I mean, this is Disney we're talking about. You know, they got all the money in the world. Or Mickey Mouse will become public domain, and then things are going to get real fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, was it, isn't it, is it McDonald's owns the rights to the Happy Birthday song?
Do they really?
I think so.
I didn't know that.
That's why, like, when you go into a restaurant, nobody just, like, sings the normal Happy Birthday song. There's always, like, some clapping. They're like, Happy Birthday, whoop, 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 like that. And they're, like, clapping around and, like, saying crazy shit.
Happy birthday from all of us to you.
Yeah.
We wish it was our birthday so we could party too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think McDonald's owns the rights to the Happy Birthday song.
That's fucked up. Fuck you, McDonald's.
Yeah. For not only for that reason, but...
for several reasons.
Yeah, for several reasons.
But also that one.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. It's like, how can you own the rights to the Happy Birthday song?
Yeah. Well, it was like, I might have this wrong, but I'm pretty sure Gene Simmons owns the rights to the abbreviation of orange juice, OJ. So if anybody says OJ, he gets royalties.
How can he own that?
I don't know. He had a good lawyer.
Gene Simmons or like O.J. Simpson?
Gene Simmons.
Why does Gene Simmons own it?
Right? Why not OJ?
Yeah. Why wouldn't O.J. Simpson own it? I don't understand.
I don't know. But speaking about happy birthday songs, one last thing before we get out of here. So I used to work at a restaurant.
Yes.
And I hated when it was time to do the birthday thing. Because
I got lucky because the restaurant I worked at, I got to tell everybody, we don't do that here. I will bring you your dessert, but we don't sing.
Was that like a policy?
That was a policy. We did not do it. Oh, my God.
Bless the owners for that.
Yeah. They're like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
So our thing was we had to bring them a sopapilla, which is a fried tortilla with chocolate sauce on it, like Hershey's chocolate sauce on it, and a sombrero. And you come over to the table and you put the sombrero on their head, and we sang the happy birthday song, but we sang it in Spanish.
No.
But it didn't really match up because happy birthday is 4 syllables.
Yeah.
In English. In Spanish, it's feliz cumpleaños a ti.
Ooh.
So you had to fit those 8 syllables.
It's like mush everything together.
Same space that happy birthday once took up. And it was so stupid, and like we had to clap on the way over to the table.
Yeah. Ugh.
And so here's what I would do.
Go hide.
If it wasn't my table,
yeah,
and there was like a birthday train going to another table, I would stand at the very back, and they were like, all right, guys, here we go. And we would start clapping on the way there. Yeah. And right when they were around a corner, I'd go the other way. I would just break off, go into the kitchen. And I did that like the last like 90% of my time there, and I got away with it every single time.
That sounds awful.
It sucked.
That sounds absolutely like
nobody enjoyed it. The customers didn't enjoy it. We didn't enjoy it. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Like, I could maybe understand like if it was like a little kid, like that might be fun for them. Yeah. Like I wouldn't mind maybe doing it for like a 4-year-old or something like that.
If you're an adult.
But like if you're like a 32-year-old man, it's like, number one, I don't want you doing that. Yeah. Don't come over here. It's like, if you want to give me free dessert, that's fine. Yeah. But you drop it off and you get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of my face.
You leave. Give me my sopapilla with my ice cream on it and then get the fuck away from me.
Oh, no, we didn't put ice cream on it. You didn't get ice cream.
Oh, okay.
You got just the fried tortilla.
Just the fried tortilla.
And whipped cream and chocolate sauce. And cinnamon sugar, I think.
Yeah. Is it the same kind that they have at Casa del Sol, where it was like the sopapilla, but they folded it over and like put chocolate pudding inside of it? Oh my God, those are so good.
I know what you're talking about. It's like a chocolate empanada.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, those things are like sinfully good.
Yeah.
Now this was literally a deep fried flour tortilla, like comes out of the mission bag.
Yeah.
They fry it for like...
They like walked over to Publix to get it.
Yeah, they fry it for like 4 seconds, and you just chocolate syrup on that. Here you go. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Ugh.
Congrats.
Yeah. And then I have to embarrass myself and everybody else by singing this song.
Yeah, we're all just sitting here waiting for it to be over. I also used to clap obnoxiously loud.
It's like, clap, clap, clap.
Pow, 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 pow. And I would see if I could get everybody's attention on me.
Yeah, I got really lucky with the restaurant that I worked at because I remember that was like one of the first things I was like, do we do the birthday thing here? Yeah. And they're like, fuck no.
Fuck no, that's stupid.
Yeah, they're like, and if somebody asks you, you tell them that we don't.
You tell them what I just told you.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
So I don't know if there like actually was like a policy not to do that, but all the servers were like, we're not fucking doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. The owner's like, well, you gotta.
Yeah.
Well, we're not.
Well, we're not. I wonder if the owner's just like, man, we never have any birthdays in here.
What are the odds?
Because there was a couple times where like there was like somebody be like, hey, it's so and so's birthday. Like, do you guys do the birthday thing? I was like, I'll bring you some ice cream and a brownie.
Yeah.
I think, but we don't sing. And they're like, oh, okay. Like nobody was really upset by it.
Yeah, it didn't
like,
ruin anybody's day.
It didn't ruin anybody's day. Like that's not what they were looking for anyway. They just wanted the free dessert.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all anybody really cares about.
That's all anybody cares about. It's not like as if...
Maybe the point of the whole thing is to be so obnoxious and annoying and stupid
that you don't even want to do it.
That the customer doesn't get the free stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the point the whole time.
Maybe, perhaps.
It's a good business strategy.
It is a good business strategy.
It's not technically illegal. It's not like you have to get punched in the face by every server and then you get your brownie.
Like somebody comes out with like an air horn, like silly string.
Like that Super Cringe like Thursday video we posted.
A confetti popper.
We just spraying silly string in your face. Just sitting there. This is not worth it for a fried tortilla.
Like take the tortilla and like slap it on the plate.
We fry it at the table. Me and Aaron shared this. We were always very worried whenever we bring fajitas to a table.
Yeah.
That we were going to drop that hot cast iron skillet on somebody, or man. God forbid, someone's baby.
Yeah.
Sitting in like a chair off to the side.
Yeah.
I had that fear every single time I walked over to a table.
Yeah, that's what I specifically remember, like having a fear as well. Like especially like anything that's hot. Like if somebody ordered like a steak or something like that, or like one of the crab dishes, like with the crab pots and everything that we had, because those were super fucking hot.
Yeah.
Like if there was like a kid there, like sitting in the high chair, like outside the table or whatever, like I would like stand back and like reach across the back of somebody and then put it on the table.
Yeah.
Like I'm like trying to keep all the food away from this kid.
Yeah, because the little kid's gonna do what? Reach out.
Yeah, reach out and try to grab it. Exactly.
We had one guy that, so we had like fajitas for two, right? So that's an even larger cast iron skillet. Yeah. And you have like a wooden plate that sits on top of, and you're supposed to put like a little like oven mitt type thing on the handle, so everything is, you have to go out of your way to burn yourself on.
Yeah.
And we had a server who didn't put the oven mitt thing on the handle, and she brought it over to a table and she sat it down, and the dude, the customer, went to turn the plate around, and he grabbed the handle. And this thing is sitting in a 450-degree oven all day long. And he grabbed it, and it, like, string cheesed the skin on his hand.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It was not good.
Ugh.
It was like he was made of wax. It's kind of on her, kind of on him.
Yeah. It's a bit like one of those where you like slap his hand. No.
No.
Well, I mean, that is sort of the thing with like, especially with like Mexican restaurants, is like all the plates are really fucking hot.
Yeah.
All of them.
Really
hot. Fucking hot. It's like, why is this plate so hot?
To keep the food warm, I guess.
But it's like this is the only time. This is the only kind of restaurant that I go to. I could order like
I'm gonna eat it when it gets here.
Yeah, I could order like 3 traditional tacos. Like, why is this plate so fucking hot?
Yeah,
like I don't understand.
The worst burn I ever got was, so when they would do soft tacos, they would just take a tinfoil
Yeah.
and they put the taco in there, and all that stuff's pre-cooked anyway. So
Yeah.
that's not a hot plate. They just take a plate, a normal plate, a room temperature plate, and they put the tinfoil tacos on there.
Yeah.
So I was helping somebody load up a tray to go to their table,
Yeah.
and there was a regular plate with tinfoil tacos on it, and I went to grab it. What I didn't realize is that those were steamed fish tacos, and that plate was in the oven.
Oh no!
And so I pinched it like this, and my fucking thumbprint was gone. It was just smooth. It's just all the ridges just melted together, and it's just those burning your fingers like
that's the worst.
It sucks because it just nothing makes it better.
No,
you just have to wait for it to stop.
No.
It takes days.
Yeah, it's like this. You can still feel like the heat radiating through it.
Oh, I hate it.
Didn't Aaron drop beans down somebody's back?
He talked about that. Boiling hot refried beans. If we ever get Aaron back on the show, I have to get him to tell some stories. Yeah, Mac is that. Okay, one last thing. There was a guy who worked there with us. He was a food runner / busboy.
Yeah.
I don't want to name names or anything, but he was a bit of a goofball.
Yeah.
And he was kind of innocent.
Yeah.
Like he was a younger guy. I think at the time he was probably 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And you could tell he just wanted friends and everything. So he was kind of a bumbling buffoon.
Yeah.
But we all liked him. And I was having a party at my apartment one day, and we had him over. And we were kind of ribbing him, giving him a hard time about being a virgin or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey man, it was like, have you ever eaten ass before? And he was like, I licked my girlfriend's ass last night.
In fact.
Yeah, he would always do this finger in the air thing. And we died laughing, and we said, I was like, what part of her ass? And he goes, the vagina. Oh, I fucking fell out when he said that.
It's like, dude, this is better if you just say, I've never done that before.
No.
Just say no. You're digging yourself into a hole. The vagina.
He was a good guy. I liked him. Well, I think that's all we've got time for today, everybody. We probably went a little bit over. But yeah, we've actually made it through episode 33.
Hey-o.
On our fourth attempt.
Look at that.
So, as long as nothing else goes awry, we'll have this uploaded and we'll have it released on time. Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Wesley, have anything you'd like to close with?
Nope, just thank you for the continued support as always.
Yeah.
Don't forget, if you're listening, to leave a like on whatever your favorite platform is, or rate us and leave a review if you're still enjoying the content. So thank you again. We do appreciate it.
Share us with your friends, all that good stuff.
Yep. Maybe not with your mother. But.
Maybe not with your mother. You remember what our mom said the other day? She was like, I listened to your podcast the other day.
I was like, oh,
I was like,
no.
oh, no. Why?
Yeah, don't do that.
She was like, I was really enjoying it, and y'all started talking about sex stuff.
It's like, yeah, she's told me a couple times. She's like, I was listening to the podcast the other day, and I was like, oh no.
It's like, why?
Yeah, why would you do that?
What do you think is on there?
Yeah, well, it's like, what do you think we're talking about? Like, you've listened to enough episodes at this point.
Yeah, you've listened to us enough to know what we're like.
Yeah, exactly. Like you grew up with us, like we grew up in your house.
But thank you for the support, Mom.
Yes, we do appreciate it.
We love you
Mom,
and appreciate it.
If you've made it to this point.
If you've made it to this point, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I'm gonna get these dogs out here. Hey.
I seem like they're pretty passed out at this point.
Are you dead? Okay, she's moving. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, and thank you, and goodbye.
Bye.